We don't know yet exactly when President Trump was infected with the coronavirus. According to the Associated Press, White House officials said Trump had boarded Marine One for a trip to New Jersey for an event there before they heard that his close aide Hope Hicks had tested positive. The event in Bedminster went ahead. Among those attending, the comedian Joe Piscopo.
This event at Bedminster was meticulous, and everything, you know, the president does, it runs like clockwork. The security was like clockwork. And then everybody got tested, and there were masks, and they were adhering to the CDC guidelines. I'm a germaphobe. I worry about everything, you know, so, I mean, and the president's more of a germaphobe than I am. So, you know, when you get there and you see everything open like that and people masked up and they're tested everybody for COVID, that, you know, I felt safe to be there.
The day before, Trump held a rally in Minneapolis. That was the day when Hope Hicks started to feel sick. Among those on the trip, Trump campaign senior advisor Corey Lewandowski, who joins us right now. He's got a new book out called Trump, America First. It was just released this week. Corey, good morning to you. So you tested negative before that event with the president in Minnesota on Wednesday night. After the event, Hope Hicks tested positive. Did the White House reach out to you and let you know and warn you and ask you to get tested again?
Well, Dan, good morning. You know, I did attend the event with the president on Wednesday. Prior to going into the event, everybody had to produce a negative COVID test, which they did. I did not hear from the White House after Hope Hicks tested positive about any type of contact tracing, but I went and got a test yesterday and had the results come back negative.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the results are negative. You know, the former governor of New Jersey, our colleague here at ABC News, Chris Christie, he was with the president for days, helping him to prepare for the debate. He told us the White House didn't contact him either, and he also found out through the news reports that what was going on. So to you, does this speak to some weakness in the White House procedures?
Well, I think we have to understand how this is all being tracked, obviously, and where this came from. Now, I hear a lot of talk about the Rose Garden ceremony for Amy Barrett Cohen. I was at that event on Saturday. Again, I was tested prior when I walked into the White House complex prior to sitting at the Rose Garden. But we're also hearing that Bill Stepien and Ronald Romney McDaniel, the campaign manager and the head of the Republican Party, respectively, have contracted the virus, and neither one of them were at the Rose Garden. So, look, I don't think it's as simple as one event. And I'm not sure in the testing protocols, if you test negative on a Wednesday, but then you start with your symptoms later in the day, and then test positive on Thursday, how that occurs. And I'm not a physician or someone who runs these tests, but you know, we have to look at that, I think, to understand if Hope Hicks was feeling ill on Wednesday, coming back from Minnesota, but provided a negative test earlier in the day, how do we know when that begins to grow and begins to manifest itself?
The president, as you know, has been criticized for not wearing a mask and talking down people who do, for holding indoor rallies where there isn't a lot of social distancing, and for playing down the seriousness of this pandemic. Do you expect, now that he's been tested positive for COVID-19, that his tone and all of the White House protocols that you and I have been discussing might change?
You know, I think the White House, and you know, just to be clear, I don't work for the White House, but I think they're going to look at all of those protocols to make sure that people who are working there are doing their very best to keep the president and the first family safe. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the president and the first lady for a speedy recovery. We want that to happen immediately. And I do know that the protocols, when you go to the White House, require everybody to be tested, whether you're going to see the president or you're going to be in the West Wing or not. Every person who goes onto that complex is tested when they come onto the complex. And I think that's a smart decision, but we have to ask ourselves, what more can we do? And, you know, the president is very much encouraging people, and always has, for hand washing and keeping socially distant. When I was with him on Wednesday, everybody was behind rope and stanchion away from him. There was an 8-foot distance for everybody with him. Even when it came time to taking pictures, the president was very clear that he was keeping a socially distant area between him and the other people.
Yeah, of course, many of the people in the crowd are not masked or socially distanced. But anyway, Corey Lewandowski, really appreciate your time, and congratulations on your new book. Thank you very much, and glad you're tested negative for COVID-19.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.